On May 2026, a date that was supposed to be a milk run for the US Navy. Just another day in the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most expensive bottleneck. But as the USS Truxtun, DDG-103, USS Rafael Peralta, DDG-115, and the legendary USS Mason, DDG-87, began their transit, the routine part of the mission went straight into the trash can. Imagine you're a sailor on the Mason. You're thinking about dinner, or maybe that one Amazon package that's been stuck in logistics for 3 weeks. Then suddenly, the Spy-6 V1 radar, the most expensive set of eyes on the planet, starts screaming. We aren't talking about a few fishing boats. We're talking about a 48-hour nightmare that looked less like a patrol and more like a Michael Bay movie on a $100 billion budget. Stick around, because today we're breaking down the exact moment the Iranian Ghost Fleet swarmed the US Navy, why the Aegis combat system had to literally think its way out of an ambush, and why the 48-hour ultimatum from Washington meant the gloves were officially coming off. Hold on to your life jackets, boys. It's about to get technical, and very, very loud. The strait is only 21 miles wide at its narrowest. For an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, that's basically like trying to drive a Ferrari through a crowded mall hallway. On May, the IRGC decided to test the triple threat, a synchronized swarm of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and those pesky kamikaze drones. Let's talk about the Shahed 136. In 2026, these things aren't just flying lawnmowers anymore. They've been upgraded with Chinese-sourced GNSS modules and anti-jamming filters. It's like a cheap toy that can actually punch you in the face. The IRGC launched dozens of these, followed by Fateh 110 ballistic missiles. Now, normally, a destroyer captain would just laugh and press the delete button. But when you have 50 targets coming from 3 different directions, the math gets scary. Think of it like this: you're at a 12-year-old's birthday party. You can handle 1 kid with a water balloon. You can probably handle 5. But when 50 of them start throwing cake, water balloons, and their own shoes at you simultaneously, you're going to need more than a napkin. You're going to need Aegis Baseline 10. This is where it gets professional. The Aegis combat system is the heart of the ship. In this 48-hour nightmare, the Navy wasn't just using old software. They were running the new AI-powered suite that learns from every mission. As the missiles launched from Iranian soil, the Spy-6 radar asterisk didn't just see them, it categorized them. It looked at the heat signature of the MD-550 piston engine on the drones, and compared it to the Mach 3 signature of the Fateh missiles. Then comes the 41 Malawin Quachas vertical launch system, VLS. This thing is basically a vending machine of doom. Need to kill a ballistic missile? The computer selects an SM-3. Need to sweat a cruise missile? Out comes the SM-6. Drones getting too close for comfort? The evolved Sea Sparrow missile, ESSM, or the Phalanx CIWS takes over. During the May, the USS Rafael Peralta reported 0 hits. Think about that. Thousands of pounds of Iranian high explosives were thrown at these ships, and the US Navy basically said, "Is that all you got?" But why was this a 48-hour nightmare? Because President Trump had already issued a final ultimatum: open the strait or face Operation Project Freedom. For those 2 days, the crews on the Truxtun and the Mason were in a state of general quarters. That means no sleeping in your rack. You're eating MREs at your station and staring at a green radar screen until your eyes bleed. Every time a radar blip appeared, the world held its breath. If a single US sailor had been killed, the next step wouldn't have been a defensive strike. It would have been the deconstruction of the Iranian coastline. The economic stakes? Huge. Oil prices in March 2026 had already seen the largest monthly increase in history. If the Mason failed, your gas prices at home wouldn't just go up, they would go extinct. So, how did the nightmare end? With the US Navy doing what it does best, proving that technology beats numbers every single time. CENTCOM confirmed that they didn't just intercept the missiles, they traced the kill chain back to the launch sites and eliminated the facilities responsible. But here's the scary part. While the world was watching the surface battle, something even more dangerous was happening under the water. Something involving 154 missiles and a silent monster that Iran never saw coming. While the USS Truxtun and USS Mason were busy, turning the sky into a fireworks show above the surface, the real nightmare for the IRGC wasn't even visible. About 15 miles off the coast of Bandar Abbas, hovering in a thermal layer like a 560-foot-long predator, was a Michigan or Georgia-class SSGN. Now, if you aren't a subsim nerd, let me translate what an SSGN is in civilian terms. It is a delete button for an entire coastline. These aren't the submarines that hunt other submarines. These are the ones that carry 154 Tomahawk land attack missiles. Think of it like this. The destroyers are like the loud guy at the bar who's good at boxing. Everyone sees him. But the SSGN? The SSGN is the quiet guy in the corner with a black belt and a rocket launcher hidden under his trench coat. You don't know he's there until your entire base suddenly turns into a parking lot. The machinery, the tactical Tomahawk Block V, let's get professional. The weapon of choice during this 48-hour window was the Tomahawk Block V. This isn't your grandfather's cruise missile from Desert Storm. The Block V features a NAV comms upgrade that allows it to change targets while it's flying. Imagine the IRGC commander's face. He thinks he's safe because he moved his missile launcher 10 miles away. Suddenly, a Tomahawk, launched 20 minutes ago from a submarine he didn't even know was there, does a 90-degree turn in midair, because a P-8A Poseidon overhead sent it a new set of GPS coordinates. That is what we call network-centric warfare, and in 2026, it is the reason why the routine patrol didn't end in a US defeat. The psychological war, acoustic superiority. Inside the nightmare, the Iranian Navy tried to deploy their Ghadar-class midget submarines. These are tiny, they're quiet, and they're annoying, like a mosquito in your bedroom at 3 a.m. But the US Navy countered with the NWQQ-10 sonar system. The sonar techs on the SSGN weren't just listening for engines. They were using AI algorithms to filter out the sound of snapping shrimp, and whale songs to find the specific thrum of an Iranian propeller. I bet those sonar techs have the best hearing in the world. They probably know what their neighbors are having for dinner 3 houses down, just by listening to the microwave beep. Sir, the target is definitely having leftovers, sounds like lasagna. Proceeding to engage. The 48-hour ultimatum wasn't just a threat from the White House. It was backed by the fact that the SSGN had target packages preloaded for every single Iranian air defense radar along the coast. If the USS Mason had taken even a scratch, those 154 Tomahawks would have launched in a saturation wave. No S-400 or Bavar 373 system on Earth could stop. This is the silent part of sky-sea defense. You see the ships, you see the planes, but it's the thing you don't see that keeps the Strait of Hormuz open.